Are you looking for simplified ways to grow your business? Do you struggle with knowing where to focus your energy for the best return? Or are you loving your business success and looking to stay ahead of the pack through innovation and inspiration? If you've answered yes to any, keep listening. Hi, I'm Amita from Holistic Vision. As a business owner, I understand that we wear multiple hats, sometimes all at the same time. Occasionally, this leads to feelings of overwhelm and stress, of being reactive instead of proactive. But when you're equipped with the right business strategies, marketing insights, and mindset, it leads to a sense of accomplishment. Your confidence in your skills grows, plus there's power in the fact that you're creating a lifestyle you love whilst going out there and helping others. The first step to achieving all of this is starting with a marketing strategy. Simply head to holisticvision.com.au/strategy and download my free Marketing on a Page template to help you build the foundations for a successful business. Hit subscribe for all the latest episodes delivered directly to your device. Now for today's episode. Hello and welcome to today's episode where I interview Erin, who is a life, holistic health and fitness coach. She works one-on-one with clients who are ready to transform their bodies and lives, as well as being the founder of Plant Based Bod, which is a program that aims at freeing people from restrictive and binge eating, misinformation, and fad diets. Her goal is to make intuitive holistic lifestyles and living a purpose-driven life the norm for all women, one where women lead by their inner knowing and are excited to finally step into their power. She uses her qualifications in psychology, nutrition, and fitness to do just that, while spreading the word far and wide as a writer and creator. Erin is fueled by kindness and compassion, which makes her fiercely passionate about the planet and all its beings. In her free time, you'll find her dancing, cooking, creating, learning, or laughing while enjoying living out her mission. Welcome, Erin. Hello, and welcome to the Simple Marketing Solutions podcast, Erin. I'm so happy to have you here today. First of all, before we start, I'd love for our audience to know a bit more about you from yourself and just, if you can let them know a bit about your values and why it's important for you to be here today.
Thank you so much for your time, Amita, and for hosting me on your really incredible podcast. It's been such a joy to listen and binge some episodes with your really knowledgeable guests. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for having me firstly. And just want to say a quick hello to your audience. It's so lovely to get to connect with a space of such like-minded people. I was extra excited to be on this podcast because it is such a big value of mine to serve people where they are at in their lives. And a lot of us are chronically deprived in self-care, and we don't actually realize what it's like to live optimally, and we're kind of living at a 70% where I'm like, no, I can show you what it's like to live with an abundance of energy and vitality and excitement for what you do, and that's really my motivation, is just to let entrepreneurs and the really kind of high performers of the world know that there are simple, actionable steps you can take right now that can make a big difference in how you feel about yourself, in getting rid of that imposter syndrome and taking control of your health and well-being.
I love that. Imposter syndrome. That's such a big one, right? And I think that actually really ties in with the first question that I've been mulling around in my head for you. Because, as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, being business owners, we're out there to try and do the best that we can for the people that we work with. but we often don't realize that we need to do something for ourselves. And I know that you've got a lot to share on this topic. So, what would be the first thing that you would recommend for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs to do that's going to help them to elevate their performance in their businesses?
It's funny because as a health and wellness coach, people often think, I'm going to go directly into life coaching and coach them on mindset or what they should eat or give them their first workout plan. And the first thing I say is sleep, sleep, sleep. How much are you sleeping? What is the quality of your sleep? Let's talk about this. And so I would definitely say that people are not realizing just how dangerous this lack of sleep. They tell me, no, I'm really surviving on 6 hours. I'm really kicking it. And I'm saying, no, you are just not aware of how inactive you are causing your brain to be, how much you are like dumbing down your own ability. Because I was talking to you just before this recording about how there are studies now showing that a lack of sleep is the same as being intoxicated, the same as being tipsy or even drunk. That is the level of performance. And we're expecting our high performers to be able to make big business decisions, make big life decisions, help and serve their team and their clients while they are drunk. You wouldn't trust yourself. You wouldn't trust other people. And you certainly wouldn't want your loved ones to be making big decisions while they were drunk or, like I would say, chronically sleep deprived.
Yeah, no, definitely not the right space to be in to make decisions for your business or for your family or for yourself as well, if you're not getting that good quality sleep. And, it's always interesting to know that it's backed up by research, that there's studies to show that the impact of not having that quality sleep, like you said, has on your
more
brain.
And more research is coming out. And I'm so glad you said the word quality as well, because like we're also chatting there is really a difference between quality and quantity. And so while I want you to get those 8 hours, more importantly, so when you can't get those 8 hours, I want you to make sure that the 6 or the 7 or the 6.5 hours you can get is really high quality sleep.
Yeah. And I think we were talking as well about how do we define quality of sleep? How do we know that those 6.5 hours that we're getting are actually good quality sleep? What would you?
That's a brilliant,
yeah,
a brilliant question, and very easy ways to check is, firstly, the thing I always tackle with high performers is we love our caffeine. And I know that, but I'm going to challenge them to make sure that they have 8 hours before their last cup of coffee or whatever caffeine hit and bedtime, because caffeine is an 8-hour window. And you might think I can, shut down an espresso and fall right asleep. That's because you're exhausted. So of course you can do that. But it doesn't mean that it is not affecting your REM, that deep sleep that we so desperately need. Another big thing to let those entrepreneurs that are burning the midnight oil remember is we have very specific hormones that are being released. Those protective, regenerative hormones are being released between the hours of 10 and 12 p.m. Or with some people, they're lucky and it's 10 and 2 p.m. And so if you can really protect those hours of 10 p.m., I know that's early for a lot of people to go to bed, but we are circadian beings. So we are used to when the sun sets, we go to bed, when it rises, we wake up. And so I'm going to challenge you to actually protect that time and make sure that you're getting that as part of your quality sleep as well. And one last tip that I can just give is really to kind of make that sleep haven, to make sure you are having a nice dark environment that's cool enough, that's going to be distract. Like if you need to put on some white or brown noise, you do that, create that environment, because a lot of us do have these fun trackers and these metrics, but for those that don't, these are the other ways that we can track and make sure we are getting that high quality sleep and we are not waking up tired and we're not falling asleep in the day and feeling that kind of 2 o'clock slump.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I've been there with that 2 o'clock slump, and it's not it's not a good place to be in, to have that happen to you every day. You have to realize that that is not normal and that you do need to address that before it even gets worse and worse, right? And those tips that you shared about making sure that the space that you're sleeping in is set up right to encourage a better quality sleep as well. Those are things that all of us have control over, so that's fantastic. And I love the fact that you said that sleep is the first thing that we need to address.
That all of us are skimming out on, myself included. I know it's the first thing I skim out on, but I mean, this is what the torture troops are doing. If they're trying to torture you, the first thing they do is take away your sleep. You're trying to torture
that's
yourself.
Right.
No, you're trying to change the world. Come on.
Exactly. And it starts with sleep.
It starts with sleep.
Perfect. Wow. Okay. That is very, very scary to think, the consequences related to not having good quality sleep. To hear from you that there's studies to show that, there's a correlation between the lack of sleep and the effects of feeling like you've been drunk. I think more people need to realize that and definitely start taking note and changing that. So when it comes to change, what would be one of the tools or that you would recommend people to use in their daily life with their business around that?
I think when you take action in something, the universe and your energy and everything responds. And so, of course, making that change is going to be different for everyone. But the biggest thing that I've felt is definitely having some form of accountability. And this can be, because I'm service-based, it's more motivation for me to serve other people and to know that I'm not letting people down than it is for example, monetary purposes. So letting people down would be more of a motivation than getting money, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Even though I understand, money is an essential part of energy exchange and everything, I just know myself, personally. And so I would say accountability is a big one if you're trying to make a change, having either your partner, a friend, a group or a community that you're working with. But the most valuable one personally for me has been having a coach that I know I have to show up for. I know I have to be accountable to, and that is really pushing me and stretching me past what I thought I could do. And that's caused the most changes and helped me to keep those changes consistent and sustainable.
Yeah. I love that. Accountability definitely is the number one thing that allows you to keep motivated and keep taking action. And I appreciate, that you've mentioned that it doesn't always have to be a coach that can hold you accountable, that, you've got partners, you've got friends, you've got colleagues that could do that as well. But there are definite benefits to having a coach in terms of obviously the accountability aspect, but also their knowledge and their expertise that they can provide during those times where you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed as well.
For sure.
And I guess when we're talking about stress and talking about changes in our lives and the things that we've dealt with, what would have been one of the biggest what was one small change that you've made that you noticed had the biggest impact or made the biggest difference for you and your business?
It's and again another one that is different for everyone. And for me personally, someone who I'm very open about the fact that I've had ADHD since I was yay big, and it's still affected me, well into adulthood. Having a set routine every day is the one thing that an ADHD that's very scattered, we get that decision fatigue so quickly. We overthink everything. And so I needed something where I didn't have to think. And through tons of research and trying out lots of things, I created, my perfect morning routine, which is something that I create with people as well, that I could wake up, roll out of bed, and the things just happen like clockwork in the morning. And within that first hour, you've like won the day. You've done your reading, you've done your meditation, you've visualized, you've done your exercise, you've made sure you've had your water, and it gets that time that you sit down at your desk and you're like ready to start working, and you are just ready to go. And that consistency, without having to think about it, has undoubtedly been something that I've seen has made the biggest impact in my business, because once I've got to that point, I am ready to tick off those things that really makes a difference and do the hard things. That's one of my daily mantras, is do the hard things first. And so I make that list, I get those 3 things and I get them out of the way. And I'm like, yes, I'm powerful. Yeah. I can do hard things. And I mean, I feel like I can do the hard things. I struggle with the easy things. So I'm like, I can do the hard things and I can do the easy things that I'm actually putting off.
Yep. I love that. And I love that you have a morning routine, an hour of things that that you consistently do every day that helps you to get into the right mind frame for the rest of your day. Out of all of those things that you do in the first hour, what's the most favorite thing? Or do you have a favorite?
I definitely do. It is always exercise, but because I am like, I get to listen to a podcast and I get very like pumped up about the day, but I feel like that's almost out of my like hour morning routine. So I would say, like, if I was keeping it within there, probably my journaling and affirmations, because I have really powerful questions that I ask myself there. One of them being, God, what would you have me know today?
And
that powerful conversation of God just being like, I need you to know that today is going to be a tough day, but I am walking with you and I'm walking beside you, and you can do all things through and for me. And then, like, what? I'm like, whoa, I get goosebumps, because I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even know that it was going to be a tough day, because this is before I've even looked at my schedule. That's the end of my morning routine, so I don't get stressed out. And then I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, it is going to be a hectic day. And, in the back of my mind, I must have known that. And having that message from, I'm like, this is the creator of creators that we all have access to. So I'm like, I mean, he's letting me know he's on my side. So definitely that affirmation and visualization where I'm like, yes, get it. It's powerful to get me into that flow state, for sure.
No, and it is definitely powerful, when we use affirmations, and they can really help to give us that direction. And when we ask ourselves those questions, so much comes up from the subconscious to the conscious mind, and we're able to really just work through all of that and see our true full potential as well,
Do you do it as well? Do you have a morning routine that you enjoy?
I do have a morning routine. My morning routine, I think the favorite part for me would be getting outside and just being in the quiet space in our suburb with my 2 little dogs, and taking them for their walk. I find that that's the time that I process a lot of my thoughts and clear my headspace. So it really helps to set me up for my day. Yeah.
And it makes sense, the walking is also, it's actually, there's also this thing of like kinetic energy, of how when we move and when we flow, that actually gets the brain stimulating as well. And it's when a lot of creative work can happen, which is why standing and walking desks are becoming so popular.
Yeah.
So protect that time.
I've got that on my Christmas list. Yes.
That's an excellent one.
For the rainy days when I can't get outside, I need something at my desk.
For sure. That was me this morning. Yeah.
And, we've been talking a lot about the things that we both do in our daily routines that helps us. And I often hear from my clients, and over, the 20 years that I've been working with people, that I'm too busy. I'm too busy to focus on eating healthy. I'm too busy to, choose better options when I'm eating, or I don't have time to go to the gym is a big one, or to exercise. What do you tell people like that can help them?
It depends where we are in our coaching journey, because obviously the
Yes.
longer you're with me, the more frank I can be with you. So I'm going to assume that me and your audience might have been working together for a while. And I'm going to be really frank and say, you are too busy not to. Because I really believe that if you are working with me or working with, any coach, it means you have something important to share with the world. And it is so important to remember that health really is your wealth. And that's such a cliche thing to say, but I always equate it to the idea of when you were on holiday one year and you were on the beach, you could have been having the best time, your favorite people around you, drinking your favorite thing, but you were sick, or you had a toothache or a broken arm, insert something that was wrong. And can you think back to this moment? All you can remember about that holiday, you can remember a single good thing. All you could focus on in that moment was how sore your tooth was, how you couldn't do anything because your arm was broken. And that's the reality, is that the lack of health will steal your ability to show up fully for your audience. It will steal your joy to show up, to be present in a moment, because you cannot be present when you're in pain. You cannot be in flow when you are unhappy, or, in a mental space like depression or like anxiety disorder. You cannot show up as your full self. Part of you, a percentage of you, will always belong to that illness. And so you really are showing up with only 40% of you, because 60% of you is dedicated to just surviving in this depression, to just surviving in this anxious state. And so when people say, I'm too busy, I'm saying, you're too busy not to. You cannot afford. You have such an important role and message on this planet with your one and wild precious life, that it is such an easy fix. It is so easy. Let me show you how easy it is to plan and meal prep so that your health soars. You will have more energy than you've ever had. You'll have more ability to serve. You start to heal from the inside out. I'll show you how simple to keep it when you're exercising, that you're like, oh, this is 30 minutes. I'm feeling so good. I'm getting stronger every day. What doesn't bend will break. And I'm not breaking anymore because I'm bending. I'm staying flexible. And my mindset, I'm not letting my mindset fall into that imposter syndrome, because we're building habits and habits and habits until it becomes like clockwork. And so the question is, can you afford to lose everything? Because if you can't, then best you start investing in yourself by making time. You have time for what's important. If you have time to watch the Netflix, you have time to, walk on your treadmill while you do.
Yeah. You're so right. You're so right. Or grab that yoga mat and put it out there in front of the TV and
do a little stretch right there.
Yeah.
That's the power of habit stacking.
Exactly.
There we go. You are right now being an inspiration, Anita. That's all it takes. It's really so much simpler than people think.
That's it. I think that's probably the biggest problem with all of us, is that we get so stuck in our heads and we make it this big thing internally, mentally, but the reality of it is that it is actually easy, and there are always simpler options available if you just open yourself up to seeing that,
Which is why you make it, essentially how I feel about coaching, is you're making it someone else's problem. Your health, your exercise, your mindset, your wellness, your well-being becomes my problem. In the same way that when someone hands over their website and their design and their marketing to you, they get to sit back and say, oh, I am paying to have this relaxation. I am paying to focus on what is most important in my business, so that Anita can help me solve this problem, because she's an expert in this area. The best part about coaching is you don't even have to be an expert in all the areas, because there's people to help you in every space. Or like you say, or, maybe your spouse is really good at cooking, so they can take over that. Or maybe You have business partners that can take over other aspects. It doesn't have to be a coach, but having someone that is an expert in that field take that responsibility off of you if it is something that's stressing you out.
Exactly. It's asking for help and realizing that there is help there, and I think that as solopreneurs, when we're doing business ourselves, we often forget that there are other people that are going through the same thing, and there are people out there that know how to help you. And all you have to do is ask. If you put the question out there, you will get answers. So don't be scared. I think a lot of people think that, no, I have to do it all myself. This is my journey. It's my business. I have to do it. I have to figure it out, even if I hate it. But I feel and I know that people will spend endless time trying to focus on those things that they're not great at and be wasting their time and energy on that, where they could really be focusing on what they are great at and let somebody else.
When there's someone that loves that thing that you hate,
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, all my clients will tell me, I hate web design and I hate social media and all of that. I'm like, I love that. I love all the tech stuff, right? Exactly. That's why I'm here. And the same with you, as being there as a health coach and helping people with their diets and exercise routines, like that really takes the pressure off that person. And I think that is so helpful to so many people.
And I also encourage your listeners to take a listen to that another episode you did. I'm going to completely botch up which one it was, but talking all about the power of community and not being afraid to reach out and almost using like a mastermind. I think it wasn't her exact words, but I just so enjoyed that. And it really empowered me to reach out. And I was actually like, oh, I need to go search her on Facebook and find this group and be a part of this community and serve other women in this way that are on the same journey. So I encourage your listeners. That was a really beautiful episode.
That was the episode with Chandra. Chandra Moran. Yes. Yes, she is a powerful coach and has so much wealth of experience when it comes to marketing and business. And her community is really super supportive. So definitely encourage people, if you're out there doing business alone and you're looking for just a network of women that are out there doing the same thing, look Chandra up.
Agreed.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you, we've been talking about everybody else, and I wanted to focus a little bit more back on you. And I wanted to find out from you, what was one achievement that's happened for you more recently that you're really proud of?
This achievement is for me, but it is actually someone else's achievement. I think you understand what I mean by that as a coach, when a client has a breakthrough. And it was a woman I've been working with, and she's really trying to find her way and her message in the world. And she felt really lost, and she had lost her health, which was her wealth, her vitality, her energy. And she actually said she had never woken up a day in her life like revitalized or not anxious or not scared for the day. And I got a really early phone call about 2 weeks ago. And she just wanted to phone to let me know that she woke up for what felt like the first time in her life ever, not anxious.
Wow. Amazing.
She rolled out of bed. She did this beautiful morning routine. And I mean, I get goosebumps. I want to get tears in my eyes, because she just, to have that kind, to realize that it was all her, she's the one that got up every day and did that routine for the past 4 months. And even on the hard days, even on the Sundays, just decided, because for me, it's an hour-long routine. For her, we have like a 20-minute routine, and that was her thing. And she said for the first day, she woke up and she was like, she finished her routine, she's like, I'm not anxious. Well, so she phoned me and she was like, and what's better yet, I have energy. I don't think I've ever woken up with energy. Like, I want to do something. I think I want to exercise. And we hadn't even implemented an exercise plan for her, because she had a bad relationship with exercise. And now she's like, can you make me an exercise plan? And I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'll make you one right now. This is so exciting.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
I'm
And
very
I totally
excited.
get it. When your clients get the results that they're looking for, that's the biggest reward to us, isn't it? And it's why we do what we do.
For sure.
So,
It's worth its weight in gold. Yeah.
exactly. It really is. So that's beautiful. And I know that you have something special that you wanted to share with our audience as a free download. What is the resource that you've created for our audience?
So I know that you have a lot of entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and a lot of them women. So I wanted to put together something specifically for your audience. So this is my take on a lifestyle cheat sheet, because I know they're incredibly busy. They don't have time to read an entire, ebook, even though I would love them to. And so this is like, if I only had, 10 minutes for you to quickly read and do a little checklist. There's like a little checklist system, just some things you can do today to start to upgrade your health and your wellness and your well-being. And hopefully, you do something like this for a week, and hopefully you can start to see that benefit already.
Oh, that is fantastic. That sounds like an amazing resource. Thank you so much for putting that together for everybody. I will share the link in the show notes so that everybody can get access to that. Thank you so much for your time today, Erin. It's been really fantastic to have you here sharing such useful tips on knowing how to get quality sleep versus quantity, and how we can start really looking after ourselves using simple, easy strategies. So I really appreciate your time.
And just want to acknowledge you again, Amita. I think people don't realize how much work goes into something like producing a podcast. And it's not something that, is paying you a ton of money, or any money for most people. So I just want to really acknowledge that you are doing all this work, and you are helping people connect with the right people. So you are a community builder as well. And I mean, you helped me so much out with, I had my times crossed on the last one, and you were so happy to just help me and reschedule. So I really acknowledge how genuine and kind your heart is to really help others. So thank you for that and all you do in the world. It really is seen and appreciated.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for listening today. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you find value from today's episode. And remember, if you've got friends and colleagues looking for inspiration as they grow their business, share this podcast with them. Follow me on Instagram at Holistic Vision Consultancy, or check out my website, holisticvision.com.au. Until next week, to your success, my friend.